Here's a fat loss plan that requires zero calorie counting, zero macro tracking, and zero apps. And it might work better than every diet you've tried that did require all three. Stick with me for 10 minutes and you'll walk away with the exact plan, meal by meal, week by week. Let's start with why most diets fail before they even get started. You download an app. You weigh your chicken. You log every almond. For about 9 days you're a machine. Then life happens, you miss a log, you feel like you failed, and the whole thing collapses. The problem was never your willpower. The problem is that counting calories puts the entire burden of fat loss on your brain, in a moment-by-moment battle 3 times a day for months. Nobody wins that fight forever. So instead of fighting your brain, this plan works with it. Here's the biology you need to understand first because it explains everything that follows. Your brain has a built-in shut-off switch for food. It's called sensory-specific satiety. Ever notice you're stuffed after dinner, completely done, and then dessert shows up and suddenly you've got room again? That's not hunger. That's your brain getting bored of one flavor and lighting back up for a new one. Every new flavor, every new texture, resets your appetite. That's exactly how a buffet gets you to eat 3 plates. Constant variety, constant new triggers, constant overeating. Now flip that. What happens when a meal has almost no variety at all? The reward system stays calm. Nothing new to chase. And research on repetitive, low-variety eating shows people naturally eat 20 to 30% fewer calories, without restricting on purpose. Their own brain does the work. That single idea is the foundation of this entire plan. Here's the structure. For core foods, that's it. Chicken breast for protein. Potatoes for your carbohydrate. Broccoli and carrots for volume and fiber. One rule on fat. 1 tablespoon of olive oil per meal, max. That's your only added fat. And it's enough for flavor and cooking without turning this into a calorie trap. One rule on drinks. Water, black coffee, plain tea. No soda, no diet soda, no artificial sweeteners. Liquid calories and sweeteners keep your sugar cravings alive, and diet soda specifically has been shown to keep your brain expecting sweetness even without the calories, which just fuels more cravings later. That's the entire framework. For foods, 1 fat source, 0 liquid calories. Now here's why these specific foods, because this isn't random. The potato is the most underrated fat loss food that exists. Researcher Holt ranked common foods on how filling they are per calorie back in 1995. The single most filling food out of everything tested wasn't chicken, wasn't steak. It was the plain boiled or baked potato. 3 times more filling than white bread for the same calories. The second you fry it, that benefit disappears, so boiled or baked only. Chicken breast brings lean protein, and protein has the highest thermic effect of any macronutrient, meaning your body burns more calories simply digesting it compared to carbs or fat. Broccoli and carrots bring volume and fiber for almost no calories, which means your stomach physically fills up before your calorie total gets anywhere close to high. Stack all 4 together and you get a plate that's enormous in volume, low in calories, and biologically engineered to shut off your appetite early. You're not restricting. You're just no longer capable of overeating. Let's build your actual day of eating. Breakfast, 2 to 3 whole eggs if you want a break from chicken, or a chicken and vegetable scramble. Pair with a small baked potato if you're training that day. Lunch, a large plate, roughly 6 to 8 ounces of chicken breast, a medium to large baked or boiled potato, a full cup of broccoli, a full cup of carrots. Season heavily. Garlic powder, paprika, cumin, chili flakes, black pepper, all completely free, 0 calories, huge flavor. Half a tablespoon of olive oil drizzled over the vegetables. Dinner, repeat the same structure. Chicken, potato, broccoli, carrots. This repetition is not an accident. It's the entire mechanism making this work. Snacks, if needed, raw carrots or a plain baked potato. Nothing outside the 4 foods. That's your baseline day. Simple enough to prep once and eat all week. Now let's talk about how to progress this over 4 weeks, because week 1 and week 4 should not look identical. Week 1 is about adaptation. Expect real cravings around day 3 and 4. That's your brain protesting the loss of variety, not your body actually needing more food. Push through it, drink water, Add extra seasoning if a meal feels flat. By day 7, most people report the cravings have mostly faded and portions naturally shrink without any effort. Week 2. If breakfast specifically is becoming a wall you dread, you're allowed one flexible addition: eggs. That's the only approved swap, and it exists specifically to protect your consistency, because a diet you abandon on day 9 helps nobody. If you don't need it, skip it and stay on the core 4. Weeks 3 and 4, this is where sustainability gets built in. Add one planned meal per week outside the plan. Something you genuinely enjoy: sushi, a burger, whatever keeps you sane. Alongside that, you can rotate in a few nutrient-dense extras a couple times a week. Oranges, avocado, Greek yogurt, a leafy green like spinach or bok choy instead of broccoli occasionally. This isn't cheating. This is what turns a 30-day experiment into something you can actually sustain for months. One important warning before you start: this plan is built as a fat loss reset, not a forever diet. Staying strictly on 4 foods for months without any rotation will eventually create micronutrient gaps, since no 4 foods can cover everything your body needs long-term. Run this as a focused 30-day block. After that, either cycle back to a wider whole food diet, or keep the core structure but rotate in more vegetables and protein sources for long-term maintenance. Here's your full checklist before you start tomorrow. Chicken breast, potatoes, broccoli, and carrots as your foundation. 1 tablespoon of olive oil per meal maximum. Water, black coffee, or plain tea only, no liquid calories, no diet soda. Eat until full every single time. No portion counting, no calorie math. Season aggressively and for free using dry spices. Allow eggs as your one flexible swap if breakfast becomes a struggle. After 2 weeks, add one planned treat meal weekly to protect long-term consistency. Run this for 30 days as a reset, not as a permanent lifestyle. That's the entire plan. No app, no scale, no spreadsheet. Just 4 foods, 1 rule on fat, 1 rule on drinks, and your own biology finally working for you instead of against you. If you want a full 7-day meal prep breakdown built directly off this plan, drop a comment below and I'll put it together for you.